Answer Gray here for episode 68 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. I'm really in a bit of a mess here, it has to be said, but I'm so glad I'm here, and I'm so glad you're here watching, either watching the replay or watching live. So, as always, if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments, or if you're watching live, let me know where in the world you're watching from. I can see that the wonderful Catherine Dar is watching from LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, which is cool. So let me know where you're watching, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, or a plethora of other platforms out there, and also where in the world you're watching from. That'd be cool. So today I'm going to be talking about how to grow or build your live video studio. And this is I think this is my second or third time I've done this kind of show, because one of the things about this show that I wanted to do right from the start was to share my live video journey and to show that you don't need to start off with loads and loads of tech. You don't need to have things all completely sorted. In fact, I'm still trying to, I'm going to use the word perfect my live video studio, but maybe that's the wrong word because there's no such thing as perfect, as you probably know. And as I've said, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So, So I'm going to be showing a few little techniques and bits of gear that I've set up, that I'm playing around with. I've got a couple of extra cameras. I've changed where my green screen is. It's very exciting. So thank you for joining me. I can see we've got some lovely live video viewers joining. I will bring you in just after the beginning of the podcast recording. And I'm hoping that the tech is going to work. As I said the other day, I've had some problems with my laptop overheating. So that's another thing I'm going to share. I've got a laptop cooler, and I'm also going to talk about a few extra things that I would recommend looking into when it comes to your live video studio, because actually the most important thing in all of this, in your live video studio, is your computer, if you're going live from your computer. So we're going to talk about that as well. So, fab. Excellent. I'm hoping everything's going to work. It looks like it is. Great. Wonderful. Are you ready for this? Fab. Right. I will see you just after this.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello, my name's Ian Anderson Gray, and welcome to the Confident Live Marketing Show. This is episode 68. When the podcast is out, you can find the show notes for this episode at iag.me/68. In this episode, I'm talking about building your confident live video studio. I'm a great believer in bootstrapping your live video studio, starting small, adding little bits along the way. And that's what I'm going to be showing in today's show. Just a few extra bits that I've been adding to my studio. Is it perfect? No, it isn't. Does it have to be perfect? No, it doesn't. Because it's all about, live video is all about sharing your message, but most importantly, engaging with your audience. And I've got some lovely people here watching live. As I said, I've got Catherine Dar here. Haley Gumasol is saying, hi, Ian. I think, Haley, you are from South Africa, aren't you? Yes, South Africa. So fabulous to see you here. Who else have we got? Oh, yeah, Catherine is from Geneva. How are things in Geneva at the moment? Martin Buckland is watching on LinkedIn. Toronto, great to see you. Andrew Pitchford from down under in Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane is a beautiful city. I haven't been there since the late 90s. I'm sure things have changed a lot. Eating bangers and mash. That's very nice. I like that. Oh, Gail Alexander's here as well. Oh, yeah, my studio is currently at the kitchen table. The husband has stolen my desk. That's outrageous. How dare he? But anyway, I'm sure you'll get it back. But yeah, kitchen table. Why not? You don't have to use like a full live video studio. Kausa Ali's here. I think, yes, you bought one of my courses a while back, maybe the OBS Studio course. But you haven't used it yet. So let me know if you've got any questions. And Adrian Pope is here. Adrian is just a fabulous photographer. He's done my latest photographs last year. Was it last year in London? I think we did it, Adrian, with Jeff C. And Tim Son is phoning in, watching live from the US very early in the morning. I'm always impressed with how early you get up, Tim. So before we do any of that, I think it's time to talk about my first sponsor of the day, which is, let's see if I can get this working, Restream. And I'm using Restream today. In fact, I'm using something a little bit which I'm playing around with. So Restream is the complete multi-streaming service for entrepreneurs because it does so many things. First of all, you can basically you can create your live show from the browser and bring in up to 9 guests onto your show, which is pretty awesome. But not only that, you can actually broadcast to not just one platform, 2 platforms, or 3 platforms. You can broadcast to up to 30 or more platforms all at the same time. So you can go live to the normal ones like Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Periscope. Yeah, people are still using Periscope, but you can do loads of others as well. There are other channels around the world. So if you're wanting to expand your reach, you can broadcast to some of the Russian networks, the South Korean networks, and all that kind of stuff. And there's loads of other more niche or niche, if you're in the US, networks. So that is awesome. You can do that directly through the browser using Restream Live Studio, which is kind of what I'm using at the moment. I'm actually using Ecamm Live, the output of Ecamm Live, into Restream Studio. So I'm doing a little bit of cool stuff there. So you can do some really cool things there. You can highlight comments on the screen. And this is a game changer because there's no point broadcasting to all those different channels if you can't engage with the audience and you can't see the comments from all those different platforms. So you can do that in Restream Studio as well and multiply your views across all those different networks. So the chat, I've talked about the chat. And then, of course, the other thing you can do is you can stream your pre-recorded videos live. So this is like scheduling your pre-recorded videos live, which is pretty cool. And then the final thing, the bit that a lot of people forget about is the analytics. So measuring your success. So you can go and see which point in your video, in your live stream, did you get the most viewers and which bit did you get the lowest number of viewers. So definitely check out Restream. You can find out more just by going to Restream, iag.me/Restream. That's iag.me/Restream. And I thank you, Restream, for sponsoring the show. It's awesome. And later today, if you're watching live, you can check out a show that I'm doing with Restream. It's called Go Live with Restream. And all you need to do is just search for that on YouTube or Facebook. Just search for the Restream channel and you can find out more about that. Awesome. Great. So Tim is asking a question. Do you use Restream Live Studio or with another platform like Ecamm or StreamYard? So that's a really good question. I think I kind of answered that. I'm still playing around with this, Tim, as I'm sure a lot of people are. There's no such thing as the perfect live video tool, but we're getting pretty close now, I think. And Restream is really awesome. There's just a few extra things that they're going to be adding over the next couple of weeks. I can't tell you what they are quite yet, but they are really exciting. And then once that happens, I'm going to be able to it's going to be awesome. So at the moment, I'm using Ecamm Live to do the switching between the different cameras. And I'm going to show a little bit more about that in a minute. But Ecamm Live, the professional version of Ecamm Live, has what's called a virtual webcam. So you can everything that you output from Ecamm, everything that you do in Ecamm, you can output as a webcam and using any other tool that you want. You can use that, for example, and you could use that in StreamYard or Restream or Zoom or whatever you like. Really, really cool. Now, at the moment, it's always going to be the case that Ecamm is going to be Mac only. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But if you're a PC user, definitely check out OBS Studio. I've got a course on OBS Studio. You can do a lot of the same cool things in OBS Studio as you can in Restream. Just a few things that you can't do, such as it's more difficult to bring in guests onto your live, so you have to jump through a few hoops there, and also highlighting comments on the screen is a little bit difficult. But the other thing that you could check, the other tool that you could check out is Streamlabs OBS, otherwise known as Slobs. And I haven't played around with this too much, but this is Slobs is available for Mac and PC as well. So definitely check out that. I can see Tim Swan saying, "I'm turning to the dark side. I'm going to get a Mac." Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have announced that. Yeah, interestingly, Tim, I've talked about this a lot on this show. I have talked about this in the past. So I'm platform agnostic to a point. I was a PC user for years and years and years. And I still love PCs today. I actually really like Windows 10. I really like Windows 7. A lot of Mac users at this point are probably going to be turning off and saying, "What is he talking about?" But I do think PCs are great. They are, in many ways, they are more, they're built more for live streaming in mind. So actually, if you're wanting to do some really high-powered stuff, getting a PC, using something like OBS or vMix is going to be really, really good. It's going to give you more power. But most of my audience, most of my clients are Mac users. And so I needed to buy my first Mac and to learn how to use it so I could best serve my audience. And so that's what I did back in 2016. And I've been really impressed with the Mac platform on the whole, although I've had loads of problems with my laptop. It's been great. But the main reason for me recommending a Mac for live streaming is not so much the power. Macs actually tend to be lower in power. They're certainly more expensive, but it's the software. Ecamm Live is the most amazing software. It's really, really cool. And yes, there are other tools out there that work really well on the PC, but I just love Ecamm Live. So yes, today I'm using Ecamm Live as the switcher, but I'm outputting that into Restream Studio. Restream Studio is a really cool platform, part of Restream, and it allows you to broadcast through the web, and it allows me just to, I can see all these comments. So I'm actually bringing the comments onto the live via on Restream Studio. So I'm just going to, let me just see. So yeah, are you actually getting a Mac, Tim? Let me know. James Tucker is, hello from Tenerife. Wow, Tenerife. Are you on holiday there, or do you live in Tenerife? I love Tenerife. It's been a while since I've been there, which is great. Tim asks a question. I will get on with showing you my studio in a second. Just got a question about analytics regarding live streaming today. Love they have analytics in Restream. Yeah, I think it's really important. So, I mean, yes, you can look. You can go into Facebook, for example. You can go into Facebook Insights and look at, and Facebook will give you a lot of information about your live streams, which is great. YouTube also has the same. LinkedIn, not so much, although we'll see what's going to happen there. But Restream Studio allows you to see it all for all the platforms that you live stream to. And I'm live streaming to about 12 different networks at destinations at the moment, so I can find all of that. It's straight in Restream, which is really cool. And James Tucker, just a final thing that James says, OBS is very good, just takes a little learning curve, and that's totally right. Back in 2016, was it? When I first wrote my Facebook Live article, and I was dabbling, trying to find a way to live stream to Facebook live from my computer. OBS was really one of the only tools out there that allowed you to do it. But for a lot of people, it was quite difficult to use. You know, it does take a bit of time getting used to switching the scenes. And I will do a show. If you're interested in me doing a show on OBS Studio, I will definitely do that. But the main issue that I find with OBS Studio is bringing in guests is difficult. And so that's what I did in my OBS Studio course. And if you're interested in this, you can find out just by going to iag.me/ I think it's products, but just go to my website and you can find out more about that. But yeah, you have to bring in guests by either using Zoom or Skype and capturing the screen of that or the window of that into OBS Studio. And the problem for Mac users is that you can't capture the audio. You need to get some extra software to do that. So yeah, a little bit tricky. And James says he's a Manchester boy, but lives in Santa Cruz. Oh, lovely place. I've definitely been there. And yeah, I'm just south of Manchester in a place called Cheadle. So thank you, man. Thank you, James. Great to see you. Thank you, Tim. If you've got any other questions or any thoughts, let me know. So, I just wanted to show you a few things that I've been playing around with. So I'm going to go back to. All I'm going to do is show you this. So what on earth is this? Can you still hear me? Let's just check I've got everything working. Yes, I do. Oh, look at this. I can start writing. So let's see if this works. Hello. Now, I'm not very good at drawing, but if I was, well, let me just, I don't know, I'm going to draw a little monster here. Okay. This is as much as my art goes. Let's do a bit of a tongue. So there we go. So this camera here, let me just go back and I'll switch to, need to go back to Ecamm Live. Still getting used to this. Okay, so what I've got here, I've got down here, which I'll show you in a minute. I've got a C920 webcam. This is a Logitech webcam, and it's on a stand pointing downwards onto my desk, and then I can draw things. The issue is that so if I go back to that now, is normally it would look like this. And so what I've had to do is I'm using Ecamm, and you can do this in Obs Studio. You can rotate it 180 degrees. So that's pretty good. Now, the next thing that I've got another webcam, another C920. And by the way, Logitech C920 cameras are just a very inexpensive webcam that's pretty good quality. It's not quite as good as this camera that I'm using at the moment. This is my Canon M50 camera. But the advantage with the C920 is that it's relatively inexpensive, and they are now back in stock. Certainly in the UK they are, and then they're not too expensive after the lockdown that we've had. So you can have multiple ones of these. Make sure that you plug it into a powered USB hub, because the more cameras that you have, the more power is required, and unpowered hubs tend not to work. So yeah, just take it from me. You need to get a powered hub, and you can buy those very, very quickly and easily. So yeah, this is the other thing that I've got. Look at me. So I've got another camera. This is 90 degrees, pointing towards my window. But I've got a green screen up. Now the only problem with this is that my microphone is over here. So I think what I'm going to do with this, when I'm on this camera, I'm going to get another microphone, a lapel mic for this. So obviously, depending on your setup, you may need to change that. So if you're listening to the podcast, basically I've got a camera which is 90 degrees to my desk, and it's pointing towards my window where I've got a green screen, and I've got a nice view of a tropical. What is it? It's a nice. Actually, no. This is a video that I took when we were on holiday last year in, where was it? My brain is completely gone. It's an Italian island, and it will come back to me. Anyway, it was such a good holiday, and I actually can't remember what it is. The place. If you know what it is, if you can remind me, it begins with S, and I can't remember the name of the place. Anyway, Gail says, I have a Logitech, but it's only 720p. Looking to change, and yes, have a powered hub. They are great. So, which Logitech is that? Yeah, let me know which one it is. I'm pretty sure the 920 is 1080p, but it kind of depends on the software. And the other thing to think about is that not all live video platforms support more than 720p. So, if you're going live to Facebook, for most people, the maximum resolution is going to be, for you, is going to be probably 720. If you're going live to YouTube or, I'm not sure about LinkedIn yet. I need to double check about LinkedIn, but some of them are 1080p. But it's always best to go for 1080p if you can possibly do that. So yeah, I definitely recommend the 920, but there is the 922, the 930 as well. So that's pretty cool. But let me just, what I'm going to do is... Okay, yeah, so Gail says the C270 webcam. I don't know the C270. That's interesting. I will need to look into that. So let me just go back to the other webcam, my tropical webcam. Okay, so I'm going to... Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back to there. I'm going to change the screen. I'm going to switch off green screen. Where is that green screen? So you can now see my green screen. And I'm also going to just turn off the zoom and pan so you can see a little bit more here. Turn around. You can see the mess of my office. Okay, so here you can see I've got my handy, my nice Heil PR40 microphone. That goes down to so hopefully you can see under that. You can see this is how high tech I am. So I've got a standing desk. Well, it is kind of a standing desk, but basically on top of my desk I've got this is an IKEA desktop without the legs, and I've just propped it on top of 4 paint pots. So it doesn't have to be. You don't have to go for high tech. At some point in the future, I have my eyes open on a very, very nice standing desk from, I think it's Autonomous, which is what I want to go for. So yeah, down there, I've got my DBX286, which is my audio processor. And then, so my microphone goes into that, and that gets rid of any background noise. And then that then goes into my Scarlett 2i2 digital interface, which then goes into my hub, which is, I've got a hub there, and I've also got another hub down there, and then into my computer. And then then that's my camera, my Canon camera over there. And then I've got a light, which is a newer light. It's a 480 LED light. Pretty cool. So this is the thing I want to show you. So I'll just bring this over a little bit so you can see, point it down. So this is basically, I bought this from Amazon. It's not the best, I think. It's not the best design, but it works. It only cost me about 15, 20 pounds or dollars. And it's basically for putting a webcam on top. So I can point this down at the page, and this is where I can draw. So this is great for presentations if you're wanting to show, to write something down, or what you can do is you can demonstrate something. So let me just show you this. So for example, if I want to show you this camera lens, so this is an extra camera lens that I've got. Let me just see if I can get it in focus. So I can obviously take away my monster there, and then I can basically demonstrate things on the screen. If I want to show you, which I was wanting to show you as well, my Stream Deck. Here's my Stream Deck. I'm just getting used to it a little bit. So this is the Stream Deck XL that I can show on the camera. So basically this webcam points down to my desk. I'm having to rotate the image 180 degrees. This allows me to show drawings. I can actually draw and do that kind of thing, like whiteboard stuff. But I can also demonstrate things, show things very easily on the camera. So I'm showing on the camera at the moment the Stream Deck. So that's my XL, and I've also got a smaller one here, which is the other Stream Deck. And on this, I can switch on and off my lights and my camera studio as well. So, for example, if I switch this button here, this is lights off, which is great. And then I switch that back on. Hopefully the lights will go back on. I'm not going to switch these off and on because this switches off my camera and basically everything in my studio. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's a camera that points down. You can get that very, very easily just by buying one of these desk mounted, or this isn't actually desk mounted, but it's got a base, and you can do some pretty cool things. So there we go. It's not Sardinia. That's it. It's so Gail says Sicily or Sardinia. It's Sardinia, and we had such a lovely time. Obviously, this year we're not doing any of that kind of stuff. Haley asks a great question. Can you use your iPad as a second screen for drawing? You absolutely can. So what you can do here is depending on depending on whether you have a Mac or a PC, it will. You'll have to come up with a different solution. But with a Mac, you plug your iPad directly into your computer, and then you can then use that. For example, in Ecamm Live, you can select your iPad as a sharing screen and draw on that or whatever and demonstrate. And I've used that before. I'm not going to demonstrate that now because I think I've run out of slots. But yes, you can do that on a PC. There's a there's lots of different tools you could use, but probably the one I would use is Reflector 3. Reflector 3 allows you to share your screen from your Android device or your iPad or your iPhone onto the screen, and you can do that. And that works in Restream Studio or in StreamYard and other tools as well, which is cool. So you can definitely do that. Great question. Yeah, and Gail says, I want a switching deck. It's on the list. Yeah, I started off with the smaller one. So I started off with the one of these ones. Let me just go back to my... So I started off with the standard one. It's still reasonably expensive. These are from Elgato, but they're pretty cool. The thing I like about these is that they have that tactile feel. When you press the button down, it feels like you've actually pressed it, which is great. But you can get... Elgato also have an app for iPhones, and I'm pretty sure Android phones too, the Elgato Stream Deck app. So you can actually turn your iPhone, your Android phone, into a switcher and program the buttons on there. So that would be one place to start. It's a lot cheaper. I would definitely get the standard one. I wouldn't go for the mini one. If you've got the budget, then the Stream Deck XL is lovely, but it is pretty expensive. So definitely check those ones out. Oh my goodness. I nearly fell down. Justin Brown is in the house. How are you doing, Justin? Watching from down under. Hope you haven't spoken in ages. It'd be lovely to catch up with you at some point. And Haley says, oh, wow, going to try that out straight after this. So which bit was that? I don't know. And you say you've got a Mac. So definitely check out Ecamm Live. You can use the Ecamm Live with lots of different platforms. So you could use it with StreamYard, you can use it with Restream, or you could just use it as it is. The reason I'm using Restream is because I want to multi-stream to lots of different places as well. And Gail says, ooh. One of the things I want to do, so just before I bring in my next sponsor, a few other things that I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to sort out my background a little bit more. I've always found that my background's a bit boring. But at some point, we are going to be moving house. So I don't want to spend too much time and effort on getting a really nice background for us then to move and then have to redo it. If you've got any ideas or tips or thoughts on that, I'd love to know. But that's definitely high up on my agenda. And I need a bit more space for that. But my office here is actually quite small. I'm using the Elgato green screen, by the way, which is great because I can just pull that up and then put away. So if I just show you that, so obviously if you're listening to the podcast, you won't be able to see this, but you can watch the video later. So this is the Elgato green screen here, and I can just easily, let's just put this over here and turn it round. Oops, that's the wrong way. Okay, so I'm just going to pull it down so you can see. And then I'm going to put it up again. And then what you can do in Ecamm or whatever software is you can then zoom in. So I haven't got that angle quite right, but if I just zoom in a little bit more, it's not great, but I'm going to do that and then put on green screen and put some bricks. We could do the tunnel. Am I in focus? Come on, focus. It's not focusing. There we go. Yes, I can switch off the autofocus on that, I think. Great. Okay, cool. So just check. We've got Haley saying, going to try the iPad as a second screen as I often draw out solutions. Excellent. Yeah, let me know what you do, Haley. I'd love to know. Yeah, if you are a visual person, I'm not always a visual person, although I want to try and do that a little bit more. But certainly I like to demonstrate things. So the camera pointing down is great. But yes, you can use an iPad. And if you have the iPad with the Apple Pencil, then that's going to make definitely allow you to do some really, really cool things. Anyway, it's time to bring in my next sponsor, which is Content 10X. Content 10X are awesome, and they are basically the complete content repurposing service for you. They do it end to end. So they will allow you to create content where particularly it works really well if you're doing a live stream. You do your live stream, once you've done that planning and you press that go live button, it's actually really quick and easy to do. From that, they will then create a plethora of different content for you, whether it's a blog post, podcast, social media images, infographic. It's amazing. And that's what I love about live video. It allows you to repurpose very, very easily afterwards and create lots of content. So that's what Content 10x does. They've also got a new service that they're focusing a lot on at the moment called LinkedIn 10x. And so if you're wanting to set yourself up as a real thought leader and to be an authority on a particular subject and to grow your audience on LinkedIn, then definitely check out the service from Content 10x. Just go to content10x.com and you can find out more about this. So if by creating one piece of content every week, one video every week, they can then turn that into lots of content on LinkedIn, really creating loads of value for your audience. And I'm really excited about this. I think it's an awesome service. And I know that for me and for many of you, LinkedIn is one of your primary networks. But there's only so much time in the day. There's only so much we can do. And so with this, by creating one piece of video content every week, they can do all of that for you. Now, if you don't want to hire Content 10x, but you want to learn to do it yourself, to learn all about content repurposing, then you can check out their blog, their podcast, their book. The Content 10x book is amazing. They've got so many resources. Amy does an amazing job with all of those things and her team. And I thank you so much, Amy, and the rest of the team at Content 10x for sponsoring this podcast and show. All you need to do is go to content10x.com for more information. Awesome. Great. Oh, no worries. Justin says, gotta run. Looking forward to catching up soon. Of course, I don't expect you to. I know you're very busy, but it's lovely to see you. Andrew asks a question. Andrew Pitchford says, has anyone any experience with the Logitech Streamcam? Seems to be the 920 series replacement under the Brio. So I'd love to know. Yeah, I don't know whether you mean the Brio. There's the Stream. Oh, I forget the name of it, but there are two Brios. There's the Stream version and there's the other version. And I got the Stream version. And I could never work out whether it's exactly the same thing, but with different packaging. I didn't get on with the Brio. I had loads of problems. I don't know whether that's because I'm a Mac user, but in the end, I had to ditch the Brio. That's not to say I don't recommend it, but I would check that out. So, in answer to your question, Andrew, I'm going to have to check out whether there is one called the. I assume you're calling it the Streamcam. I don't know anything about it. Today, I still really recommend the C920. It's a very old camera now. There are better cameras, but what the thing I like about the 920 is that it's tried and tested. It's inexpensive. You can buy multiple ones of these. And if you want to get significantly more quality, better quality than that, then what I recommend is to up your game and get a DSLR or mirrorless camera. And because that's the only way you're going to get significantly more than that. So the difference obviously is between, say, $80 and you're looking more like $500-600 between the webcam solution and the DSLR mirrorless thing. But I think you could get the Brio, which is around $200. But if you're going to spend that, if you've got a bit more budget, then I would recommend getting the getting a DSLR such as the Canon M50 or the Panasonic range. So think about that. So that's where I am with things. I've got a couple of got two Canon. Sorry, I've got one Canon M50. I've got two Logitech C920 cameras. I've got an extra. What do you call it? I've got an extra tripod. I've got the green screen. I've got two Stream Decks. That has grown over time. When I first started, I just had the Blue Yeti microphone and a C920 and my old Dell laptop, and I did pretty well back in those days. It was fine, but over time I've increased that and I'm really happy with it. So in terms of my tool setup, I'm using Ecamm Live with Restream, and Ecamm Live soon will have the ability to bring in guests via the web. That's going to be awesome to be able to do that. But of course, if you want to keep it simple, then you could use Restream Studio, and you can bring up to 9 guests easily onto the show that you've got. So you can definitely check out Restream Studio. But I'm really looking forward to being able to bring in guests, and that's going to be great for onboarding, because if you're going to bring in guests onto the show, you want to make it really easy for them. So I'm going to be able to give my guests one link that will allow them to come on to either Restream Studio or onto Ecamm Live. But also, one of the things that I want to do is, this is a podcast, and so I'm going to use another service. I've been using Cast or TriCast for that. I'm dabbling with a few other services as well. And that will allow me to get my guests to record their audio on their end. And that will then get sent to me. So I can then it's much easier to then repurpose the audio. If I record the audio, my audio on my end, and my guest records the audio on their end, then it means that if I cough or my guest coughs, I can cut that out very easily. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be really, really cool, because that's going to allow me to get really high quality audio on that. So definitely check out TriCast. It's called Cast. I can never remember the URL, but I'll put that in the show notes for this episode. So I think that's it. I don't know whether anyone's got any other questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great to be here. I'm glad that my tech has been okay as well. That's awesome. So until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of confident live video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.